Okay. Um, Hi, ladies. I think we can maybe start already our stream today. It's a big pleasure to hear you and to see you today within the celebrating the art birthday. And I'm very happy that you are a part of our big VR team, already members to our platform, and we are collaborating with you. And I would like to introduce you to the public. Snow Yunxue Fu, an amazing NFT digital artist. Those artworks now presented in the Times Square and across in New York City. I think she will speak a little bit more detailed about this. And amazing Eleonora Brizi, who is our platform curator, art curator, who is participating in a lot of different art projects, which are like my art projects. And today we have a special celebration day. We also launching a Snow Yunxue Fu NFT collection. It's a NFT drop today. And later you will get some details about how you can participate and even win one of the NFT as a present from the art. And now I would like to give some words to Snow that she could maybe say a little bit more about today's NFT drop.
Great, great. Hello, everybody, and thank you, Yana. Thank you, Eleonora, today for being here, and thank you for everybody behind the screen of VR who's putting this together. Super congratulations to VR's second official birthday. It is such an exciting time, and we'll go into this more, but I love working with people from V-Art, and it's been such a pleasure to be able to work with you all for quite a little while. And today's a special day, and while celebrating V-Art's second birthday, we're also releasing a new collection of my NFT work. And you can actually see them right now in the VR Marketplace link. I think Yana will drop that link in the comment very soon, so you can just click on it. And so you will see that those new artwork are available, and they're actually from the V-Art.Digital solo exhibition that I have been doing with them since last year. So there are 8, I believe, new NFT pieces that just made available to the public. And then they're from artwork series that is of my trench project, as you see on the screen right now. And Trench is this digital art project where it is very much about sort of this digital landscape portrait of underwater world spaces. So here are some other works that the Night Flame series is another set of work that has released for today. And that is a piece kind of deals with sort of this kind of like crisis aspect of our environment, as we're seeing, something very serious like the forest fire, taking place in different regions of the world, right? So looked at the ocean in Trench, and then looked at the forest in the Night Flame, and then another body of work which is Submerged, as you can see from the very left. Look at actually the galaxy. So it's another digital landscape where it's made up of human body parts with galaxy-like texture all over. And so this kind of idea of we're all once stardust, right? Kind of underlying the connection that materially maybe we have with each other, even though sometimes we may feel like we're very different. So, thinking of the techno sublime is sort of what is at the center of my work. So I feel like this 3 body of work actually represent quite well, and they're all from the covering a solo show, I also encourage everybody to check it out on the V-Art website. I believe Yana is also going to drop that link for everybody, so you can interact with it on VR website. You can also actually open that in the VR app, so that it is AR assembled and you can walk around in it. So yeah, that is the gist of the NFT artwork that we're dropping today. I'm very excited to get into all the questions that Eleonora has for me.
So many. You don't even know. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. And as Snow was saying, today is also a special day for the art, second birthday, first birthday with you for me. I'm very happy to be. It's gonna be a discussion. It's even not like a Q&A, just to talk to these amazing artists who I have been following for a while, and also discover her then on the art platform. So yeah, I have been like looking at your work, and also at your practice. You also teach, I mean, very but many different activities, which then I want to also ask you about that. But about your art practice, so you come from a traditional right art
Yes.
background, and then at a certain point you started to add computing, like computing came into your life, and so it's like it's digital art, and then until getting here to NFTs, which is still another step. It's like it's not that it's digital art, it's a part of digital art and everything that we already know. But like, how did you start your journey in the NFT space? And also tell me, if I mean, why is it,
Mhm.
what did it bring to you, to someone who's already digital, who comes from traditional and that is digital, and that why NFTs?
Very nice question to start. Thank you. I might also step back a little bit, since I think part of that also answering this question would be benefited from me sharing a little bit about my background, which you mentioned. I did actually come from more of a kind of traditional art training background. Growing up in China, though I do locate my practice now here in New York, and I did, was born into a Chinese family, right? Was painting kind of growing up, and then later on went into sculpture and then photography. And then, now I am a digital artist who's been practicing, over 12, 13 years, based in New York City. And as you mentioned, I do also teach at New York University Tisch School of the Arts, and I teach what I do and I do what I teach. So I teach
Exactly.
3D simulation, 3D imaging here in the photo imaging department. And when I come into digital art, even before coming to NFT, maybe, just I like kind of the parallel that digital virtual spaces have with actually a lot of so-called traditional media. I see sort of ways that it manifests within digital 3D spaces, how painting and photography and sculpture is, right? It is sort of this virtual translation of that and much more. So I love that there is this kind of epistemological model of the world, if you will, in the 3D software spaces, where you can kind of go in, create things, and or find a really interesting way for your work to reach the audience, right? So kind of beyond when it was painting, which was only sort of on canvas, or photography, it's print, or even kind of digital means 3D imaging is more versatile, or in general kind of digital art is more versatile. And I think that might be also one of the first reason why NFT was very attractive to me. I was actually invited to start minting my work even back in 2018, so quite early in terms of relating to the timeline, as we think of kind of how NFT really get democratized. I would say sort of relating to maybe the pandemic, right? However, everything kind of gets into online, both our work and life, and the way we do digital currency. And so, but even before that, 2018, I was invited to start minting my work, and by different platform, and some of them got really big, right? Like so it was really interesting kind of looking back, like I was one of the first ones that sort of worked with them and just exploring. And I just find this idea of authentication, right, in digital art, it's been an ongoing, right, so the situation topic to talk about, and also this sort of legitimate way for digital artists to get compensated, right, for their creative work, which involves a lot of labor, a lot of learning and research, right, just as much as traditional artists, as I'm coming from that background. And even the past kind of 10 years before NFT comes, I realized, right, digital artists are not necessarily sort of considered, sometimes unfortunately, sort of as equivalent as the traditional artists. And this kind of misconception that maybe your computer do work for you, and that it's also can be copied. So when NFT comes into the scene, just this sort of potential of it being tracked back to the artist, and that digital artists like me can have their works value listed. That is, I think, such a progress and improvement within the art world, and also a really awesome opportunity to open up our work to a broader audience as well.
Yeah, what you said is very important. Like what you just said about like legitimation of the genre. Not only, I mean, you said it about value, not only about monetary value, which is very important. So it is a possibility for artists to monetize their digital works, but also to be recognized as art. I mean, through crypto art and through NFTs, there are so many genres that would never ever have been considered as art. That's why, so right, like it really is the like the base of this very experimental space for creators of any kind collaborate. And like it really is like I was I recently like interviewed many artists for a book that I worked on. And when we got to the point of like defining, which was a tricky question that I was asking on purpose, like what is the aesthetic of crypto art? And finally we, because I really think that it is an art movement, but then it doesn't seem to have an aesthetic. So this is why many art critiques were asking, right, like, yeah, but like you're presenting, I don't know, a new economic system, you're presenting new ways, like peer-to-peer, new ways for artists to commercialize their works, but then you're not presenting me any kind of new aesthetic, right? But then we pretty much all agree that the this movement is based on ethos and on values of like experiment, freedom of expression, and core values instead of aesthetics. And so this goes back to what you just said, like a chance for artists who are using computers to actually be considered as those who use paint, like brushes, right? But I want to ask you, because you're a very interesting case, because there are many native digital, many very traditional who don't even want to hear about NFTs. But here, there is a very young creator who has already gone through all these different medium and tools, a traditional, digitized, and now even like on blockchain. I want to ask you, because I think that it's very important for people to understand what is the fil rouge between all, like all these techniques, spaces. Someone calls it traditional, new, contemporary, blah, blah, blah. But I am sure that you are an artist, so you have your core in any ways, like you use different tools. Or what is your fil rouge in all of this?
That is a very deep question. And I'm gonna try my best to answer it well. And feel free to throw me more questions if you feel like there's certain aspect I didn't kind of hit. Like you said, I do think there are so many terms that's being actually invented or maybe even reinvented when this kind of idea of digital art and NFT, and the way that kind of people can experience digital art contemporarily, right? There's so many kind of terms being thrown around, but at the core, sort of my practice. I still actually very much think of myself as a painter. And I'm a painter that doesn't necessarily use pigmented paint, and doesn't necessarily use the canvas fabric. But when I'm approaching my artwork making, I'm very much sort of approaching it pictorially, and comes from this sort of, I think, even kind of childlike I think ways of approaching images. But I think digital space, first of all, as an art medium, opened up so much freedom for me as well, in terms of scale, in terms of things that I can do, right? All of a sudden I have so many great, interesting, still being kind of pushed 3D simulation tools that I can then make images with. And then not only making the work, I can kind of reinvent myself, explore the boundaries of how the work is shown, right? Not only I can kind of print them out as a physical thing. Again, it can be completely experienced on web link. It could also be experienced through an installation, right? In a physical space, it could also kind of be experienced in a VR headset or metaverse situation. So very, very much so, I felt like the core of me doesn't change with how I approach my artwork making. And while there's so many sort of great benefit of how digital artwork is being legitimized, and also my sort of audience got broadened, right? There's people who are online who I will probably never have the privilege of meeting in person, all of a sudden can get to know about my work because of the way the digital work is being circulated. By the end of it, I think art is at the center, right? It's not the digital currency that becomes, the center. Very much so, the meaning of art, and also the way that it touches people and communicate with others, and kind of connect all of us together. I think is what I care about, at the center. And then in that spirit, I think, like digital means of doing things, nowadays with NFT or even Metaverse 3.0, seems very promising, right? There's a lot of sort of good can be done in this space. Yeah.
Well, this is perfect. It's I really like. I'm very happy when artists are. You said at the core, I am the same. It's like I always say that like the voice of art is always the same. The language changes, but the voice is always the same voice, right? And so it is very important also to bridge these worlds that are not bridged yet, to have someone like you to scream this. It's like, I am an artist, I was a painter, I am a painter, but maybe I don't use like physical pigments. It is very, I think that it's key, but the spirit is always the same. I have another question, just out of my curiosity, about your teaching activity. How does a creator, like a creative person like you, who obviously is always like experiencing the magic, right? While you create, there's always some magic, like curiosity, pushing boundaries and everything. How you don't lose the magic? Because earlier you said, like, I teach what I do and I do what I teach. How does it translate for a very, very creative person, like for a creator, to teach this magic and not lose it?
I'm always curious. I think back to this kind of idea of the sublime, which is what I kind of getting back to from time to time with my work, is that I feel like the world is such an infinite space to kind of explore. and not only kind of physical world but digital world, and therefore is also life. And there's so much kind of knowledge, right? Especially working with 3D simulation, I see the way that 3D software is built. It reflects physics, reflects the way that physical world function. But then through digital means, we can also do kind of very impossible things, right? It's both a window and a mirror in a way. And so so it's very crucial for me, being creative, to stay curious, right? To basically not jaded and not take anything for granted. And that I think relates again to digital art in general, in a sense. Digital art as a medium has been around. Even there's people who are doing work with digital material and means even 60s, 70s, and they're doing really interesting things like Namjoon Paik. And I see so much curiosity in his work, and that's something that I really hope to explore in my work as well. It is also a way for me to, I think, better understand the world and better understand ourselves as human being. I think this sort of aspect of the sublime and infiniteness, both is kind of exterior but also interior, right? We're kind of hyper complex, psychology, material, cells, right? That's why in my work I kind of underline this relationship. And so technology become this way for me to explore the world, and explore the world with visual and audio, and maybe even other experiential means. And that is what I actually, in a large extent, I think, trying to channel when I teach art at New York University or anywhere that I've taught before, that I want to spark that curiosity that my student already sort of have, right? Wherever they kind of come from, there are things that they're curious about, they want to learn more about, and they're feeling right intensive about. So art become this very interactive way to explore that, right? So they're making, they're thinking, they're pushing. So I think the process of making artwork is really more like a dialogue, right? It's less of kind of like, I want to do this and therefore everything ABC. I tell my student, talk to your artwork. What does your artwork want to be? And I think that make the art stay fresh. That even as somebody who's maybe considered as an establishing artist, that with a established body of work, that I'm not just sort of one trick monkey, sort of just doing the same thing that I probably know how to, and maybe gain somewhat of a success. Every single one of my artwork is an exploratory, exciting process for me, and I really want to kind of provide that to my audiences as well, right? And of course, this exploratory aspect, and sometimes the result you get is not necessarily always super positive, right? Like a lot of my digital artwork, even from the collection I explore, I wanted to make a portrait of the ocean, but nowadays to make a portrait of the ocean, you don't just have coral reef and fish anymore, right? You have you end up bombarding yourself with so much trash-like objects. So I put glitch texture on them, and when you experience the work, not only in the trash object has glitch texture, the whole scene actually glitches as well, right? So the portrait then kind of become this meditation on how kind of human being as general, the way that maybe our economy develop, and how our human modern life develop, sort of have this circling effect back to our environment, right? We take so much resources to use, but then what we're sort of oftentimes outputting is trash, which then really change the landscape of our world. But I'm also kind of looking beyond, right? I'm looking at this, really, really wide concept and space of the galaxy, and thinking and reflecting again, like who we are, right, as human, and in nowadays a very technological driven world, a lot of times we feel like we're the center of the world, but very much so when we're putting ourselves in terms of physical scale and time scale, we're really a lot more like little dust, right, in the timeline or in the physical space. So so as a little dust, I want to keep wandering around, and then with my artwork, I want to explore kind of different areas in a deep way, and I really hope that my students are able to also do that with their artwork.
Well, I don't think that you're gonna get bored. I'm gonna like, I was like, how don't you lose the sparkle when you dissect to right, like to teach?
Yeah.
I don't think that that's gonna happen to you.
Good news then.
No, the last question that I wanted to ask you about you as an artist, since you have, I mean, for everything that we talked about, like from traditional digital NFTs, like what is your hope, or what do you hope to see in the future of the, let's talk about like the digital art world or NFT space? It doesn't matter really these terms. Like what would you like to see? I don't know, technology, more embedded technology in the art pieces, or it doesn't matter? Or do you think that we can actually even find out more things that we don't know about yet? Like there's so, maybe there is potential in tools like smart contracts that we are just looking for transaction, but that could actually be used for like what is your hope? What are you curious for
Yeah.
the future of the space?
Totally. I think this is very much relating to V-Art. So I'm gonna kind of clue Yana in a way too, and then the rest of the team. I working in digital means, even again before NFT coming into the scene, I would say more so 2019, right, or like early 2020, right, like that we sort of learn about so there's the way that NFT work has circulate or get purchased. But even kind of before moments like this, I always I felt like I dealt with a lot of different aspects relating to this, or relating to the concept of metaverse in my work, right? As you see, a lot of my artwork deal with infinite spaces, and it's also very immersive, even as an app experience, but also as a screen experience or as a VR experience. And when V-Art came to approach me, I would say spring of 2021, I want to say, trying to kind of get back to my memory lane a little bit. And then they say, hey, Snow, we really like your work, and we really want to represent it in this solo show. It's completely digital, right? And I've kind of been affiliated with like other like social media, social VR exhibition before too. The same year 2021, I had a solo exhibition in China, and then I couldn't go because of COVID. But then neither is my sort of international audiences. So I said, well, let's also parallel making a metaverse version, right, of it. So that was made Mozilla Hub, and then people can we built upon the museum, Duende Art Museum in Guangzhou, and we build upon it architecturally, and then we put the artwork in there so people can experience. So after that experience, VR came to me, and this time I'm very excited, right? So they were so also I think open in terms of how do I want to experiment. So in the end, as you all can see, the covering art show is based upon actually 2 of my artwork. So like all of the other 12 artwork gets shown within my 2 major artwork, right? So it is this kind of island-like place where one side is my night flame series. So you're actually walking around this burning forest, right, with different installation and screens that you can activate, and there's 6 other artworks that sort of deal with this idea of environment in different ways, and then you can experience it that way. Here is the Night Flame. Thank you very much for pulling that up. And I like this kind of impossibility. Otherwise, this type of fire, we would just all perish. But in digital means, we can actually go in. We can kind of really immerse ourselves, meditate. Right? I think before the piece was made, it was the Australian fire. And I was basically burning this whole continent. And when we're in different places in the world, we kind of get a sliver of the information. We'll maybe get a few photographs, and then we move on to another piece of news, might even be like entertainment. So I really wanted to kind of create this space where we meditate on it, right? Like this sort of profound effect, profound influences that we have towards our environment. Not all forest fire are made a human cause, but recent years there's more and more so that it's because of the way that we interact with our environment. And so that was sort of this almost kind of devastating, right, kind of death-like, if you will, kind of impossible surroundings on one side. And then the other side is based on my other work called Submerge. And then Submerge is this kind of beautiful galaxy-like environment where you can walk around, right, with sort of human arms, legs, and hats, as you can see from our screen again here. So you're all of a sudden kind of put in the middle of the universe, right? You're maybe a little dust flowing around, and then this kind of interconnectivity, right? Like I think even kind of fundamentally as human in this world we have right now, me and Eleonora joined from New York, and Yana joined from Germany, and I know a lot of the VR team member are all different places in the world, right? Some of them in Ukraine, and some of them in other places in Europe. And so this kind of underlying connection and materially that we have. And so I love that I was able to kind of build my exhibition in that way. And then that's kind of one of the sort of, I think, highlights in terms of, back to your question, Eleonora, like, what's the future of digital art or digital art showing? I think this is a future, if I may, is that there's more creativity in terms of, like, not only I can set up architectural kind of museums in a whiteboard situation online for my artwork to be experienced. I think it's meaningful and interesting in one way, but I can also kind of set up this artwork within an exhibition, right, for my audience to experience. So this way that they get closer to my artwork. And in a way, I do think like one highly positive thing about the internet and the premise of Web3 and even NFT is that it connects us even so much more now. It connects us in such a fundamental way. So I really want to keep kind of pushing that, and I really kind of encourage, right, people who are in this field. And I think VR does such a good example doing that. Like I love how the VR team brings people from all over together to work on this very utopic vision, right, that we can set aside our differences and really connect in a kind of human, fundamental humanity level. And that's such sort of joy. It's really this kind of other side of things that sometimes people don't see behind, right, artists making work and working with exhibition spaces and working with organizing like VR is that kind of connection, this kind of ongoing partnership, right, that now we have for over a year. I really treasure that. And this community that I have is extended even beyond the immediate New York. And and whenever whatever happens to one of us, we help each other. So some of you may also know the new NFT collection that we're dropping. Half of the proceeds is going to go into Ukraine's humanitarian fund, right? So really want to kind of utilize my artwork to support other people, especially when others are in need. I think we should all be there for each other, and it makes us all better. And so I think this is the future, right? Like I really want to kind of see more things like this happen, not only just with my artwork, but with other, and I, fortunately I've seen that. And of course I involved with other projects like VRWS Park project, which I know that VR also has partnership with DSL collection, which we, have another kind of metaverse setting where I'm dedicating sort of a showcase space, a model after Washington Square Park to show my student, which is emerging artists work, right? So that there's more of a playing field in terms of how artists think, how artists experienced, and then the hope is really that we're more connected through it instead of being separated.
Well, thank you. You covered all the questions that I had about the art, but I will ask you the last one, which
Yeah.
is, since you talk about what you liked about the art, like the mission and everything, like if you had to wish something to the art for its birthday, what would you wish?
Yes. Happy birthday, VR. I wish everybody in the team the best. You or are the best. I've really enjoyed working with you, your humanity, your friendship. I even got to meet quite a few of you in person recently, Yana, actually in New York City, and I wish that your team will grow stronger and stronger. This bond, right? This kind of cross-cultural global bond, and that more artists will get a chance to experience that, like me, and also thank you so much for supporting artist vision, that you're putting the art at the center, right? That you're working with artists, very open-minded, and I think because of that, the result is so much better. I wish that all of the artwork gets reached to more and more audiences, and thank you so much VR for pushing that, to allow other people might or might not come from any art background or traditional or digital or whatnot, right, able to experience art and kind of find that connectivity and the shared humanity, right, that I think keep coming up in this this talk today, and so that I think through the interaction, I know I've been made better, and so I wish that continuously VR. I know there are some really awesome project already happening, and also kind of baking in the oven, so to speak. And so wish all of those projects the best. And I hope I'll be able to continue this friendship with you and continue to share and enjoy art and the spark with the wider audiences, right? Curators, communities, artist community, and everybody else. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ladies, for this amazing Q&A session. It really was a pleasure to meet you in New York City and speak to you in person. I believe that interpersonal communications are very, very important as well. And continuing our session, I would still suggest to go to our marketplace to check yourself our new NFT drop from amazing artists from Snow, and also have a look at the other collections from her. And as well, we celebrating V-Art birthday, and we would really like to give also a presents from our company to you. And one of our exciting present is actually one of the artwork from a current drop from Snow Yunxue Fu from her latest collection, and you can really win it participating in our NFT giveaway. Just go to our Instagram, to go to our Twitter and check what the rules are. They are very simple. You only should follow and write some birthday wishes and some tag some friends. So we will be very happy to see you in our next talks, digital art talks. Follow our social media channels, and we will definitely inform you, and we will be very happy to see you. Thank you, Snow. Thank you, Eleonora, very much for this amazing discussion. It was very, very interesting.
Thank you so much, Yana. Thank you so much, Eleonora.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody in VR. Hope all the audience have a good day. Thanks for joining in.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.